I'm joined now by the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. Thanks so much for joining me.
Great to be here, Brian.
So we have some new news this morning as it relates to those Texas legislators who are in your state in Illinois, in Chicago. Can you explain what the situation was with the bomb threat in their hotel?
Yeah, well, let's start with last night. A right-wing video blogger who has White House credentials, I might add, as a correspondent at the White House, uh, came to an area of Illinois where some of the legislators are staying and started videoing and reporting online about it. And so that he then put up a map and put a pin on the map and said, this is where these Texas legislators are. So that started this. This morning, there was a bomb threat against the hotel that those Texas legislators were staying at. It had to be swept with a bomb squad, and the legislators are safe. We have brought in state police and other law enforcement to protect them. So it's a dangerous moment in the country, and now it's literally the physical well-being of those legislators is at stake.
It's not just the bomb threat. We've also seen other kinds of threats get waged by members of the right. John Cornyn had called for the FBI to go into the sovereign state of Illinois to be able to collect these Texas legislators. Can I have your response to that effort? I mean, that's just one of a number of efforts put forward by these Texas Republicans who seem increasingly desperate. You also have Greg Abbott, who is trying to get these folks vacated from their seats. Ken Paxton is also engaged in an effort in the courts to do exactly that. The Speaker of the Texas State House is issuing civil arrest warrants, which that and $10 will get you a foot long at Subway. But regardless, the point is that they are doing anything they can to put pressure on these folks, even if it means abusing the law.
Look, I think one of the reasons that the Texas House Democrats came here to Illinois is that we stand united in leadership in our state, our Attorney General, our President of the State Senate, our Speaker of the House, and as governor. I have stood together with them that we're not going to let the bluster and threats from John Cornyn, even from Donald Trump. There is no federal law that dictates that these people could be arrested. Can they send FBI agents to try to threaten or create some scene? Maybe, but there is no federal law that allows them to arrest these legislators. And as you said, the civil warrant that was issued by the House leadership, the Republican leadership in Texas, is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with Illinois. We don't recognize their civil warrants from
Right.
Texas. Texas Rangers can come to Illinois and enjoy our lakefront, but they're not arresting anybody and taking them away.
Yeah. To that point, as it relates to these bomb threats and the use of, these FBI agents, do you have confidence that Donald Trump's FBI is going to be a trustworthy partner in investigating some of these crimes against Texas Democrats, given that their political ideology doesn't comport with the Trump administration's?
I mean, Kash Patel runs the FBI and Pam Bondi runs the Department of Justice. Do I have any trust in either one of them to follow the law? They've demonstrated they won't and don't. So no, I don't have much trust in them. But again, we have a democracy still. We have a constitutional republic still. There are certain parts of the institutions of this country that still operate. And I have to rely upon those and do everything I can in Illinois to bolster them in every way that I can. That's all I have. I mean, we're not going, this is not going to be, there's not going to be a civil war. At least I don't anticipate that. And so the question really is, are people just going to buckle because of Donald Trump or Greg Abbott's threats? And I have to tell you, the Texas House Democrats, they're in no mood to buckle. And I'm so proud to stand with them. Remember what these people gave up, right? Their families, their jobs, literally aren't earning anything while they're in Illinois.
It's costing them money to be there.
It is, and they're protecting all of us. I mean, frankly, people ought to go online and give money to TexasHouseDemocrats.org and to support the effort. And they are receiving a lot of support, but they need more. because of all these threats. They have private security. We, of course, have state police now engaged because there have been public threats against them. And so we're going to do everything we can to protect them, but they need support. And I think all of us in every walk of life, if you care about this country, this is the moment. This is the moment, and this is a cause for you to stand up and fight for.
Why was it important for you? I mean, in theory, there's not a lot of there's no relationship between Texas Democrats and the state of Illinois. Why was it important for you to make yourself in large part a face of this fight?
Well, this is about fighting for our country. I mean, listen, I helped to build a Holocaust museum, right? I led the effort to build the Illinois Holocaust Museum. And what I know is that in 53 days, the Nazis tore down the constitutional republic in Germany in the early 30s. It doesn't take much. And we're seeing pieces of that sort of activity, the authoritarian activity happening right now in this country. And there's only one way to stop it, and that is if people get up, stand up, and protest, use their microphones, their megaphones, and very importantly, we have to win in 2026. So they got to go to the ballot box. You want to preserve this democracy, you want to preserve this republic, you got to show up and vote in 2026.
In terms of what you would ultimately like to see from this effort, I mean, I think there's no doubt from both sides that if Texas Republicans engage in partisan gerrymandering and further rig their map so that they can add 5 seats at the behest of Donald Trump, and California responds, and Illinois responds, and Missouri responds, and we continue to have this race to the bottom, which, by the way, was not started here. I mean, a number of states, Republicans have been gerrymandering for years, including Ohio, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Utah, they just gerrymandered. So there are plenty of examples. Wisconsin is another one that has been gerrymandered for years. What is the ultimate goal that you would like to see from this effort? If there were any good to come of this, what would you like that to be?
There ought to be an independent commission or independent commissions in every state. We need a national law that allows that to happen. But the fact of the matter is that doesn't seem like it's possible, at least not right now. And so, we have to recognize that even though, I'd love to see it for the state of Illinois, but we're not going to unilaterally disarm
Right.
when Republican states are drawing maps, crazy maps. I mean, look at North Carolina, what was happening there. And as you said, Wisconsin. We've seen Republican states doing this, and now you see J.D. Vance going to Indiana today. Missouri is considering it. This is Donald Trump tearing the nation apart, changing the rules in the middle of the game, cheating. He's the ultimate cheater, right? He defrauds people out of their money. He's been doing that for years. He's doing it even now as president. He's cheats on his wives, and now, frankly, he's cheating on the American public and taking their votes away. And one last thing. In Texas, it isn't just 5 Democratic seats that he's taking away in Texas. These are 5 Democratic seats that represent black and brown people. And when he tries to take those away, when Greg Abbott tries to take those away, well, he's violating the Voting Rights Act, which the Constitution upholds. And we've got to do everything we can to fight back against this. This is the crumbling of democracy before our very eyes. So when people say, well, gee, what's happening in Texas? How does that really affect me? It does, because this is the beginning of the end. If you don't have a representative Congress, truly representative of the country, then, and you've got a president who's an authoritarian, what very little left of democracy after that.
Right. And finally, let's finish off with this. What would your message be to other governors around the country, Democratic governors, who may have the opportunity to join in on this fight on behalf of these Texas Democrats, to join in on the fight on behalf of fair maps and ultimately some type of system where everybody is represented by independent redistricting commissions or whatever it may be, but who don't know whether it's worth it to kind of dip their toes into this water right now because of how acrimonious all of this is?
Yeah, except remember that, your future is bleak if you don't stand up in the moment when it really matters. And so I do believe Democratic governors, and I've heard from many of them over the last 2 or 3 days. They stand with these Texas Democrats. They're beginning to speak out about it. I just heard Josh Shapiro talk about it yesterday. I really believe that there is a momentum that is coming from this because of the sacrifice that these are heroes. We've got 35 or so of them here in Illinois, but there are, 60 of them. And they're heroes, and we all ought to be standing with them. They're truly on the front lines. I'd like to think I'm also standing with them on the front lines, but these folks gave up everything to do what they're doing. Yeah. So I would say to leaders across the country who care about the future of this country, this is the moment. This is the fight. Stand up, speak out, and do something in your state to better the situation and bolster the institutions that make up our constitutional republic.
Well, I appreciate your leadership on this front and for bringing this fight to the Republicans. Also, one reminder for anybody watching, I'm going to put the link to donate to these Texas Democrats right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. If you're listening on the podcast, it'll be on the show notes. Highly recommend that you help these folks out. These are not wealthy national political figures. These are folks who are making $600 per month, $7,000 per year, and putting it all out on the line. So again, that link is on the screen and also in the post description. Governor Pritzker, I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Brian.